My spirit must live on upon the earth. Ancient rhythm is mine, but I'm with the angels of enough time. So the mantle I pass to you, child. Do you do and make the people dance to the ancient rhythm? Make them move to the ancient rhythm. They got to groove to the ancient rhythm. To the ancient rhythm inside of you, dance to the ancient rhythm. You got to move to the ancient rhythm. They must groove to the ancient rhythm. To the drumming of the queen of the ancient rhythm. Queen of the ancient rhythm. Queen of the ancient rhythm. Oh, she's the queen of the ancient rhythm. Queen of the ancient rhythm. Mother put she hand in a kimbo, she watch me bold. It is you I'm talking to. Yes, you child. From the journey you can't get away. Ancient rhythm is here to stay. So go back and show the people the ancient rhythm inside of you. To the ancient rhythm, make them move. To the ancient rhythm, make them groove. To the ancient rhythm, move to the ancient rhythm. To the ancient rhythm, make them move. To the ancient rhythm, they got to groove. To the ancient rhythm, to the drumming of the queen of the ancient rhythm. Oh yeah, Mariwo, 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 oh yeah. Dance to the drums of the queen of the ancient rhythm.
I see mother. I see she. Yo, Alex.
Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe agbatani omi awa ibajani Ibabo shishe oshunshila Omi awa ibajani
Wale wa egungun ibao wale o persecution, horrors, wolewa. When they try to oppress me, humiliate and stop me, wolewa. I pour libation and send my supplication into the spirit realm, wolewa. Never will they let me down, wolewa. They see my tears, they feel my pain. With patience I'll rise again, wolewa. I must stay focused to fulfill my purpose, and I will conquer all. Ancestors, rituals or something. Hear us. Come to our aid. Hear me.
We are here on another beautiful night on the Euphoria we are of life. Yours truly, MC Duke. Alatumi Sheifa Bamisha Ganki. And we have a new time from 9 p.m. to midnight on the Sheet 919 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook. We're also streaming live on the Sheet 919 FM Facebook page. So we are here once again after, we had a lot of ups and downs with due to our jobs. Shaka is a rabbi, is here and he's very busy. And let's like to say, I'll have to do streaming live on Facebook, HSM Baba Arila Fakayola, Lesson Beans is on, Kern Belfon is on, Nisha Sylvan is on, Janet Armstrong is on, Kenya is on, Alison Beans is on, you know. We have a full house tonight. My guests tonight are Burton Sanka Raleigh, and I have Ogunkaye Jada Hines from the Ifa Caribbean Foundation. And our topic tonight is shrine mapping and the tradition moving forward. So I know we are pressed for time. I know, Jada, your time has to be cut short, so it's limited. So we'll get right into it. So I say, Ibashe to Unmila, Ibashe to the Rumalet, our ancestors, you know, for giving us the time and space to be on this spot of ground here. You know, may Kabisi Shango give us the justice needed. May Baba Ogun continue to guide the technology that we have here to use here tonight. May Orishanla Ubalufan Uba Pata Pata Labalashi Batala continue to guide us and mold us. May Baba Yeshu, the divine messenger, continue to open the doorway for what we have to give to the listening public and the viewing public here, sufficient enough to change the dynamics of what people think about the tradition. May the tradition grow from strength to strength, and may we stick strong as a people. My co-host, my brother, my friend, my partner, Shaka is not here. You know, I'm missing him. I tell him that today, you know, but I know he's busy. You know, he's on that road, he's on that track, and his rabbi is here. So he has to do what he has to do. So I'm going to pay some bills for the sponsors who continue to support the program here, and then we get straight into it. Sponsors for the Orisha way of life. Kamara's Culture Store, the #1 important supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar Main Road, Shogunas. Contact number 672-8438, 320-8866. Gossip Gel Polish, gel with a difference. Contact number 3827587. Come, let us take care of your feet, Petty by Risi. They also sell butters. Contact number 3984474. Nubian Experience, clothing that tells part of our rich African history. Number 6, Woodford Street, Arima. Contact number 6881979. Oriyumi, Nico Loggins, Health and Wealth Lifestyle. Number 73, Eastern Main Road, Barataria. EMG out of Texas. Richie's Tire and Automotive Car Care Center. Number 409 Otello Drive, Hampton, Georgia. Sponsors for the Ifa Orisha way of life.
Also sponsored by the Throne of Gold for all your African supplies and clothing. Their contact number is 754-5128. That is the Throne of Gold. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Omo Inu, all things woman. For all your Yoni products, they are the sole women's haven distributor for Trinidad and Tobago. Their contact number is 365-4332. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Black Tie-Dye Catering Service, 683-8755. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Awo Wabande Tonic, 388-4606. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Ile Josio Turameji, Awo Oshun. Thank you.
Yes, so we're back at it. And we're going to have this discussion, this discourse. We're going to bring some light and share some information. So, Mr. Burton and Jada, it's all yours.
Hi.
Hi.
Good night, everyone. Okay, so as said before, I come on behalf as a representative of the Ifa Caribbean Foundation and Britain.
Shrine Mapping Database Committee. Yes. Okay, well, I mean, I know you have more of a constraint, but in terms of the shrine mapping process, I was thinking a little historical perspective will help in terms of where I see our effort coming from. And I want to take us back to when the Orisha tradition began to organize itself, a process which began in the 80s, maybe the late 70s or the 80s. And there were two Orisha organizations, if that be the right word, bodies that came out. One carried the name originally, the Shango Belief System, and the other one, you know what I mean? Sorry. And the other one was the Orisha movement. And they took the names, the first one, Opa Orisha Shango, and Egbe Orisha Ilewa. Egbe Orisha Ilewa was headed by Iyal Orisha Melvina Rodney, the spiritual daughter of Baba Ebenezer Elliott. Opa Orisha Shango had different leaders. Perhaps the most well-known for us now is the not too long departed, at least for me, Baba Ford. At one point, the Iyal Orisha of that organization was the almost legendary Molly Ahi. Now, Opa Orisha Shango was, and I read this in an anthropological account, was perhaps more aggressive in linking with shrines and recruiting shrines. So I kind of see this attempt to get a sense of a listing of shrines as going back to that kind of attempt done by Opa Orisha Shango. Then in the course of the 1990s, the two organizations attempted to establish together a formal Council of Elders. And in that period in the Council of Elders, a sustained attempt was made to map shrines. And I believe prominent here was Baba Royal Gibbons, and I believe Funcho Ayegina of Nigeria was also involved in that in the 1990s. I kind of came into the picture when sometime after that, maybe in the next decade, they attempted to renew that effort to map shrines. But that effort didn't really sustain itself, and things kind of lapsed. And then sometime after that, and it could be maybe even the next decade actually, I was in the company of Baba Royal Gibbons, and he said, we have to do this, I strongly suspect it may not even have been him speaking there, because somehow that stuck on me, and sometime thereafter, I just started, attempting to list shrines and to make a sense of what the shrines were. And this might go back to around 2016. Shortly thereafter, maybe a couple of years after, I convened a committee, and we started functioning from there, maybe around 2018 or so, right, to, in a more organized way, map Orisha shrines. And in the process, in terms of what I was doing, there were certain challenges, both the physical challenges of getting around, also the challenge of what do we mean by an Orisha shrine, and we can even talk about that at some point. But in the process, moving around, I did a lot of moving around the country, and I have tentatively mapped over 200 spaces that can meet certain definitions of Orisha shrines.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, some are big, some could be someone who just does work for people. So it's an open space where work is done for people. But then again, there are a lot of people like that, so you have to note how you map that. But yeah, and I have been around the country. It's been very interesting.
I have seen you in some kind of places before, so I know you move around a lot.
Yeah. So that's some of the general history, and I've been trying to make a list of them and some of the people who are there and what kind of work is done there and what the space is like. And I've accumulated, and we have accumulated a database, and we've been attempting in more recent time to be a little bit more methodical in how we do it. And that is where my sister in Jada will come in. She could more talk about that process. Yeah.
Well, so let's have Jada.
All right. So where the foundation came in terms of the shrine mapping, the foundation got an opportunity with the Crapper Foundation in conjunction with Microsoft and TT Labs. So they basically ran a program that would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they gave us an opportunity to do it first. So they had, I think, was 8 participants meaning different organizations. You come forward with an initiative that you have that you would like to put forward, but it has to be in terms on the technological side. So it has to be an idea put forward that they could help together with us cultivate into something technological. So within the program, we did blockchains, we did coding, we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot. It's too much to cover. We basically got that program for free, which we were very grateful for. It was myself and Khalif Peters Ifadara, which he isn't here with us today, unfortunately. He had some other things to tend to. But Khalif and myself, we represented the foundation, and we went with the idea of the shrine mapping. So what we did basically was we went in conjunction with the data that Burton had. Burton supplied us with the raw data, and we looked at it in a sense of how are we going to take this and mold it into something that we could use for the foundation, use for the tradition, and take this one step further. So that's basically what we did, and we created a database that we will then in turn release to the public and will be accessible by everybody, especially people within the tradition. So it's basically a catalog that has a list of all the shrines, so to speak, in more of a loose term. Because as we said, there's a lot of things that could be taken into account for what could be considered a shrine. There's a lot of characteristics. So within the shrine mapping process, like you said, there were places that you came across where people were just doing their own work. They were doing work for themselves, they were doing work for people, but you considered it a shrine because we considered it a safe space that people could attend for certain things. So that's basically how we categorize them. We have on shrines that are fully established, that are well-known, that are well-known organizations and shrines as well, that we have categorized under different orishas. So we have Oshun shrines, predominant Oshun shrines, predominant Chango shrines and stuff like that we have within this list of shrines that we have. So with the shrine mapping, we integrated it into the foundation as well to not only have a catalog, but one of the purposes of the foundation, one of the things that we're pushing forward for the foundation right now is to establish schools. Right? It's a very important thing for us. It's something that is basically what we ride on, to establish schools within our tradition for our children, for our tradition, schools that uphold the things that we stand for, the things that we need to teach, schools that teach our children the importance of Ifa Orisha, how to get up in the morning, greet your Ori, you know. So the shrine mapping would also help with that, because it would help us to give a sense to the government as well when we put forward the idea, or we put forward the notion even more of, listen, we have the numbers. We have the numbers. These are the amount of shrines we have, and that's only the recorded shrines that we have. 200 and something.
I'm shocked.
And there are still a lot of places that we have not.
I have to tell you, it's very fluid, because some places might close down, but other places are starting. And then with this COVID situation, this research was already done before COVID, so we have to look at him, see what the situation looks like now and what people are doing now. You know,
I realized something, you know, because this is not the first time; it's the second time you, Jada, have been here, and I must applaud the work that the IFA Foundation, Caribbean Foundation, is doing, because by doing this, when you want funding for the government, you could see that you have a structure, you have shrines, you know, that anybody come in and ask for funding and these kind of things. But where can this database be found?
Now, the database is not yet accessible to the public. However, we're working on a platform that we would have it accessed, that the public could access it properly. We're also working on an app, myself and Khalif Peters. That's a project that we're venturing on pretty soon. So what we have right now is the raw data. So we could basically catalog the raw data on our end and put forward to you what we want you to see, but we don't want it like that. We want it to be something interactive, and we want it to be something that would catch on and that would store data as well. So what we're trying to implement now is to put forward an app, a user-friendly app, where we have the raw data that we collect would be something that would be updated annually within the app, and you're able to access it for yourself. But for now, it's just a brief catalog. What we basically got to do with the
Shrine Mapping Committee?
Not the Shrine Mapping Committee. What we basically got to do with the program that we were awarded, you know, the privilege of having attend to for free, we basically got to take all that raw data and put it into something that we can now present and say, okay, this is what we're going off of. We no longer have this just raw data here on a spreadsheet that we don't know what to do with. We took it and we molded it into something, and this is the start of it here. So that was a great opportunity that we got, and we were really grateful for it.
There's also certain ethical and procedural questions before you make this thing accessible. Best practice means you should try to contact everyone. Now, some shrines are pretty public and you can't see them objecting if you note it. But I think best practice tells us you should try to contact everyone, get some kind of permission and clearance to use this information and all of that, which we have not even tackled that aspect yet. So that's also a major task to do before you make this available.
So we are pretty a far distance, or we are distance from.
We wouldn't say we are distance. Yes, it's a lot to go, but it's still a step in the right direction. It's a step to where we need it to be. It's a step closer to where we honestly thought we would have been at this point in time. What we have is the numbers, we have the addresses as well. So the next step for us as a foundation and as a people as well, together with
shrine mapping,
shrine mapping and the entire team, is to go out to the shrines individually that we have already recorded, as well as the ones in the area that people may know about, that they would like to tell us about, or that we get information about. And the initiative basically is to go out there and we're letting them know. We're asking permission. We're going with forms, asking permission to have your space featured on our catalog of spaces. Because it's not just for us, it's about all of us within the community connecting and finding each other. Because there's a lot of us that don't know the rest of us out here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of us that don't know each other's names and stuff like that. And we are a lot, but we're very small. We're clustered in small
How big is the
spaces.
Caribbean Foundation? Because the amount of work here, how big is
right now in the Iwer Caribbean Foundation we have 5-6 members.
But you would think it was 20 or 30.
Yeah, and we all do that. We share the work amongst ourselves.
That's good to know. That's very good. Let's try to touch on some of the comments here on Facebook. HSM Baba Arila Fakari says, we'd love to be part of moving forward as a people. The public should be more aware of the foundation. As the head and founder of Ojubo Risha Umulu since 1994, the founder of the National Ubaluaye Festival of Trinidad and Tobago. Presently, we are in process of infrastructure of a school. I give thanks for you guys, Iwer. You know, that's very good. You know, Baba Arila Fakayode, who is very strong in pushing the tradition and pushing the youths. You know, they have their festival coming up from the 19th, the 18th till the 21st, but I would not be in the country after the 20th, so definitely I'll be there for the first two. I'll be in Tobago.
That's in the country, you know that.
Yes. I would not be in this side.
You wouldn't be on this island.
On this island here.
Yeah.
But I applaud the effort and the work. I mean, his festivals are very great. I get treated like a king when I go there. So I look forward for the first 2 days. You know, so let's go back on the shrine mapping. I mean, I was shocked to know that there are over 200 shrines or spaces in Trinidad and Tobago.
Listen, I have mapped these places, and without any difficulty, I could go to a Gavin, and if I were to go around asking people, I would find others without much difficulty. You keep hearing about and finding places that you just did not hear about. I mean, so I really don't know how much is out there. Even if you say that some have since gone inactive, others have been we don't know about, and we have started and things like that.
Where is the majority of these shrines? In the south or in the north?
There is a strong concentration in the in the Port of Spain Lavantil area. I think that is in terms of just, but then in terms of general population density, there's a strong concentration happening here. There are certain places I've had interest in. For instance, the Diego Martin area. You wouldn't think there's that much happening in Diego Martin, but depending on the definition, I think I found over 10 places in the Diego Martin area.
Serious?
Yeah, I mean, I have to check the files up, but yeah. And you know, places even I didn't even suspect. I talked to someone, I say, you know, they have a church there, and a woman there does do work, and they have another church across there, run, I believe, by an Indo-Trinidadian gentleman, and this person does do work, and we're looking for a place with flags up, I think Covine Road or somewhere up there, and we found a place where this elder was doing something for years now. So I've kind of mapped that, but we can talk about that. But on the way, we saw some other flags and another guy there doing things. Yeah, it's like
I want to try to suck
we
some.
have to know where the tradition is. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
HSM Babarella Fakayu said his birthday is on the 18th. My mom was on the 19th, so that's a kind of. But I want to try to suck as much information from Jada because I know she's pressed for time, you know. So I know your foundation had a festival or a celebration was to happen.
Yes. Unfortunately, we didn't get to put everything together because one of the members of our foundation, she doesn't live in the country right now. And she was here, but she had some stuff to do, so it was very difficult for us to work a time around it, and we wanted everybody there. We needed everyone there, or it wasn't going to happen. So we decided to postpone it until a later on. You as well, you and Shaka were on the list to be invited as well, as you very well know. But we just put it off, Burton. As well, yeah. So we just put it off.
I know a lot has been going on. You know, Shaka Rabbi is here, and they have initiations and they have a lot of things going on. But
now is the time within the calendar around this time of year where our people, everybody busy.
Yeah, Osain Festival things kicking off right now. A lot of shrines and spaces having a lot of festivals here and there and everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
And these are the kinds of things we need to have a sense of what's happening. Even something as simple as the Orisha feast, which a lot of our people try to keep track of. I mean, as far as I know, there's no proper listing of who has feasts when. I mean, in the 21st century, you should just flick the phone and see that. But,
is that on the card of the foundation? Is that one of the agendas on the foundation to actually to get information regarding of...
I was just going to touch on that. So I was just going to say through the app as well. So this was also another conversation, a conversation I was just having while brainstorming, you know, how certain things with the app going to be, how we want to have certain things put in place. That was another idea, and that was another discussion to also have shrines updating their own profiles as well. So you have it's an up-to-date thing. So it's something that we want to continue to do continuously, right? It's something that we want to have the initiative where we constantly keep up to date with shrines. So you know who's having what,
yes,
you know, who's having this prayer night, you know, who having which festival. If it's something that's open to all members, if it's something if it's something that's open to the public, if it's something that's just for members, if they could make a donation. So these are things that we're pushing forward to do, and we could not have been able to do it without Burton's hard data.
Because I was just speaking with him like tomorrow in Laventille Road by Mother Marilyn. There's Osain prayers. Yeah. There's Shutters. The yard next to Shutter had something yesterday. Then Shutter is having flag planting on Friday. And then he having
Baba Ford's
thing,
people are having something.
Ford's.
A feast this week from Wednesday.
And then there's a Oya festival in Pepper Village in Faizabad coming up. And
I didn't hear about that.
None of the the events that you call, I know going on. None of the events.
That's what's happening in Trinidad.
And you will be amazed when you pull up to these events, you see thousands of people.
Just people.
And you could go to another event the next day and see plenty of people and hardly anyone who you see in the place before you see them.
But that's like when we went. The shrine.
Francis Johnson?
We were, yes.
Where?
So we went by Francis Johnson. I saw you went
in Maruga.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, Maruga is another story.
So
I did Maruga.
So we went with a maxi. And majority of the people in the maxi, Burton was people from up on Duke's side.
Okay.
Nobody, we were the only people from our side. Everybody was Shagonas up.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean up north, from north? Yeah, because
so
Francis Johnson has strong connections with town and close to the town people.
But there were maxis and maxis of people who came down from the north and the east side.
There was Oshun Meiji, Shakan, Yaomotayo, and Baba Opa. They came down also with a maxi.
Yeah.
Also,
there's a connection within the community.
Yeah.
But there's a gap. There's also a gap with that connection, and we're trying to bridge that gap.
Because if you're in the network, you know, but if you're in a different network, I mean, it's a similar thing with the.
And this is a serious thing where Stacey Gould is saying here. one of the advantages of this shrine mapping initiative is the link with Google Maps to locate these spaces.
Yeah,
and that is
We
so
have,
true.
so what we did, one of the programs that we did on the entire program was geography mapping. It was geological mapping as well. So me and Khalif, while we were going through the program and we had that course that day, we were looking at it as a way, and we had a phone call after, because usually sometimes when we go through classes, we'd call each other if we didn't understand or if we just want to go through things together to make sure we're on the same page. And we were talking about it, so we were saying the same thing, that we could now use this and have the skill that we just learned into putting it with the shrine mapping to implement it into Google Maps as well. So, everybody has an accurate way of finding these spaces. It's not just something that just thrown together and you download an app and the info is there. It's something that work is being put into, because that gap that we have there, those many gaps, those many little potholes that we have, we're trying to pave that over right now.
Because some of these shrines located in some kind of place.
Places.
The only thing I didn't do yet to go by some of them shrines is take a boat and over. You understand? But
I hear there's a new shrine who is with a relative of a member of your committee that is way up in the hill. I hear they had shuttle taking people there. I did not go.
I don't know if
I'm
this
not
is
sure if I could be more precise, but I'm not sure whether I should be. But
I don't know if this is there by Akim.
Yeah, you see, you call any name. I didn't call any name.
I am connected, that you know.
Yeah, I mean, I only heard about this place a couple of weeks
so
ago.
good
It's not on my
like
list. It's not in the database. I don't know how long it has been functioning, and I heard about it. It's really.
And hear me, I have gotten numerous invitations. I have not reached yet, but you can stay from the Arangwe Savannah and look north and see the shrine.
Yeah.
It's that high.
Yeah, no.
If your vehicle is not good,
No, I'm told that they were shuttling people there.
Yeah,
Vehicles were not
and they
going
having
there.
a lot of feasts and a nice place trending. Baba Arula Fakede says, also notifying the public of which shrines practice synchronization.
That's another good point.
Yes.
And I spent a fair amount of effort trying to note the kind of work that is done in the different shrines. And I developed a system whereby I list the shrine. No, I don't ask certain questions, all right? I decided to stay away from certain things. But things like Ifa, Orisha, Baptist, Hindu, yeah, I mean, I think don't think people have any problems with talking about that. I mean, it wasn't my place to probe beneath the surface and other things.
This is why I say on the program here, I bring it real to you. You know, there are shrines that even practice Kabbalistic, and it goes on and on and on, and what he says here, this is very true, Stacey is saying here, let's go even further and enter the metaverse where persons can visit virtually. So the sky is the limit. Wow. Limit for tradition and people who love
so that was another thing we had on a call with Stacey as well, with myself, Khalif, and Stacey. We were talking about having a metaverse version.
Right.
We're looking into the metaverse to have it do the same thing for the information for the shrines.
Yeah.
So it was basically having that virtual access into reality.
But a lot of that depends on establishing the links with the different shrines and let them know what's happening and let them participate. You know. So I think there's a lot to be done there, in that regard.
But that was what the initiative about the forms and stuff were about, where we went around to the shrines and we were discussing about asking them, if we have access to their information and if they would like to give us access to their information, and also if they would like to be a part.
Okay, so you all have been doing that. So you all have been doing that.
No, that's the discussion that we had about that being the next initiative.
Okay.
Because what we wanted to implement with it as well would be like governmental forms to actually sign the shrine up for being a registered shrine.
Well, there have been attempts, like I know the Council of Elders have been attempting to register shrines, and anyone who wants to can look to register their shrine, so we can look to facilitate that.
So that was the things that we were looking to facilitate and help it, where we don't just go around asking shrines, hey, do you want to be a part of our database for whatever? It's also, let's help you with this
registration of the shrine.
Help you with the registration, and with the registration would help with funding, it would help with a lot of stuff. And as we said, the ultimate goal for us right now within the foundation is having to put roots down to being able to fully establish our preschools and our primary schools.
Yes.
So as that's the goal, the more numbers that we have on paper and the more people that we have you
Yeah.
know, rooted and grounded, for lack of a better phrase, would be better for us.
Yeah.
You know, there's a paper trail
Yeah.
behind everything.
Yes.
So, I don't know where Duke went.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so I think there's a lot happening there, and this, like I said, I've been trying to, you know, in terms of how we do it, like even with shrines who do Ifa, you know, the Ifa practice has become integral to what happens in Trinidad now, you know.
Yeah.
So different shrines do Ifa in different ways, you know.
Well,
Some
let
do
me just-
Ifa with very Trinidadian kind of practice.
Let me just switch the topic right here.
Yeah.
And as you know, the president of the foundation is in present, Miss Gould, who loves to be, you know, she loves to stick a little pin. I need to stick a little pin in this here when I need to double back to the, because I feel like it's something that we need to talk about, to double back to talking about the gaps that we have within the tradition and the gaps that we're trying to build and mend, and how the shrine mapping is helping us do that in terms of inclusivity and exclusivity. Because there's let me keep it real, there's this unsung rule in Trinidad with our shrines where you don't want certain people going certain places. So you're telling certain people certain things, or you don't want certain people tell other people, or like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you have an open space and not being able to tell people? So in terms of bridging this gap, we have to remember as well that we no longer, it's not us alone. People are having kids, we have children, there are younger ones underneath us. So we're trying to basically build a better foundation for our tradition, for ourselves presently, as well as our children. Because we have this not this know-it-all mentality, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So it's always, you know, people who doesn't want certain people come in here and certain people come in there, and that's not what this is about. And that's the gap that I wanted to touch on, that we're trying to bridge. Because it's not about superiority. Our tradition is not about superiority. That is basically what we're trying to push and what we're trying to let people know. Because we tend to shy and push away people from the tradition with the way that we deal with people, the way that we treat people, the way that we speak to people, the kind of information we choose to give people, you know, the way that we interact with people. So this shrine mapping is actually helping us do a lot. It's touching on a lot of stuff that we didn't even think that it would touch on.
Why would like to ask the foundation is you know, there's the Osun Meiji, there's Ayoka with the Yomoja Shrine, there's the Table and Shrine who just had
Festival,
yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Is there a grouping for each Irumale, for each Orisha, you know? This shrine is Osun Shrine, they having Osun Festival at this time. This shrine is a Yomoja Shrine, it having Yomoja Festival at this time. So people will know, alright, these are the main shrines for certain Orishas, and they having festival instead of we having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, there is a grouping. There's a grouping for the physical catalog that we have, the physical copy that the foundation has, and the raw data that we have, that we collected. There are many categories that it could be placed under, and there is another stuff with another implementation with the app as well. You'll be able to filter, to search through whichever filters you choose to. So you could search by geographical location, you could search by certain tags. So if you're looking for certain specific deities, like we said, we have shrines dedicated to specific orishas, like Baba Aruela Shrine is a Shakpana shrine.
Yes.
Right? We have Ogun shrines, we have Shango shrines, we have Oshun shrines, Yemoja shrines, Obatala shrines. Right? So these are things that are implemented in the app and the raw data as well, that we'll be able to categorize everything from. So we have everything listed.
Is the foundation trying to bring love and some sense of cohesion? Because I will look at you, yes, as an elder in the tradition. You know, some people will say, oh, he initiate, and he this, and he that. But since I came into the diaspora, I've been seeing you all over.
Okay.
There's no place. The only place I haven't seen you is on the sea. Right? So, are we trying to bring because we are the young ones. We are the future for this great how to put it, boy?
Isheshe.
Isheshe, yeah. Right? How can we get together, get this shrine to come together with this shrine? What I was one of the greatest thing I have seen in the Orisha community this year was the fusion of Kenny Cyrus Al-Kibilan, Joan Cyrus' daughter,
Yes, I know her.
and Oshun Meiji in Matarita Arima, where they came together for the Oshun Festival. And I mean, I need to see more of that. I would like to see more of that.
Yeah.
The togetherness and the coming instead of the fighting down, and I'm going by just like what you say.
Yeah.
I'm going by this one because on my way to Francis Johnson, and I told me, why are you going down there? I'm going. My Ori will guide me.
Yeah.
My Ori
Yeah.
will protect me.
Yes.
I know why for.
Yeah.
You understand? Because in the Baptist faith, and I'm proud to say, I'm a Baptist. I will never turn away from that. People will quarrel and they will say, but that is where I came from.
And there are a lot of shrines that do Baptist, and there are Baptist places that do Orisha. And we have to map those as shrines because Orisha are being worshipped there. So that is how I approached it, you know. Maybe in the absence of further guidance of elders. But the work that happens in Trinidad involves Baptist, involves a significant amount of Baptist.
I saw Kabiesio manifest full flight and color in a Baptist church 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And operating like in a palace.
Yes.
And call me, child of the white cloud, come.
Exactly.
And I was like, and people that say, this is not for this and this is not for that.
Because we try to make a distinction with a lot of things. We try to make distinctions with things, and it's good to make distinctions with things. Yes, because it's good to know where you stand. It's good to know, you know, what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. But we need to understand where we need to have boundaries as well, because inclusivity is part of everything, right? And that same thing that you was just talking about, that's part of the problem as well. That's part of the problem as well.
People not approving of
because as you say, we keeping it real. We just come on the show to keep it real. How could we then sit down and chastise when we have an integration of Baptist and Orisha? Because before we were able to practice Orisha wholly and solely and fully on the outside, you understand? We had to do it through spiritual Baptist practice.
Benny.
We had to do it through spiritual Baptist practice. So our ancestors with spiritual Baptist, even though some of them, they were, you know, praying to the Christian gods or the Christian entities and energies, and some of them weren't, because they were saying what they had to say, what they knew, and they had something else.
Where they get all this great power from, you know what I mean? And
you had something else in your heart. So what I'm saying is why constantly try to chastise something that we no longer understand, because we have to have a certain amount of respect when it comes to the spiritual Baptist tradition in terms of its connection to the Orisha way of life.
I believe once we understand that, and get that out of the way, that is a curse that spiritual Baptists, look, Baba Arila Fakayo, they say, great elders came from spiritual Baptists.
Yes.
It is when I mourn, I know who I am. Stacey Gould says this is the president of the foundation. Energy has no restrictions. Each shrine has their patron divinity. True, though they may have. I believe this is a curse from the past that Baptist and Ifa and this. The day we get to understand that the Baptist is the left hand, Ifa is the right hand, and we put them together and interlock it and realize how great it is, the curse will disappear.
I think we also, like with the Baptists will also be drawing on. There were other African traditions besides the Yoruba traditions that have been part of our history, and I think the Baptist draws on that. So when we talk about Orisha, we can be referring specifically to Yoruba, or we could be talking about a universal principle that we can see in different African traditions and even other religious traditions, you know. And the Baptist has represented a very strong African presence in our landscape, you know, in terms of that traditional mystery that's in the morning ground. It's the Baptists that preserve that. Now, in terms of the historical record, as far as you can track, for a long time, Baptists and Orisha, like maybe prior to say the 50s or 60s, seem to have been more distinct kinds of work, although I suspect there would have been connections, you know. It would seem that the lifting of the ban on the Baptists in 1951, I should know my history better, which we celebrate on Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day. The lifting of that ban and stigma on the Baptists were now able to more come out in the open, and it seemed that at that phase, that crossing over with Baptist and Orisha really began to come in full strength. Before that, Orisha was actually more anchored in a show of Catholicism. You know, Pan Niza did not like Baptists in terms of Orisha, even though he was an independent Baptist or something like that otherwise. But, you know, they would be saying these Catholic prayers and all this kind of thing, you know. And the Catholic, praying to the Catholic saints, which was distinct from Baptists, you know, back in the day.
And then comes the terrible notion that we constantly have to deal with of
I will like us to open. I will like us to open to open the lines, and you all can interact with Jada, and because this conversation is so nice. Jada, I wish you could have stay till like Kingdom Come, you know. You know, Jason King, he came. He actually, this is a elder that has a lot of information, and at times I will sit and talk to him on the phone over a period of time. The tradition is so great, we just need to understand, and we need to have some patience. Suru, you know, because Ifa says patience, humility, and respect, and that is what we need, and we need to integrate every single thing. I have a caller here. Aborabo Yabo Sise, caller your life.
But this is Baba Orada, Pakayo.
Yes, Baba.
I'm live or I'm not?
You're live and in living color.
I feel Burabo Eboshishe Ekurole to yourself, my brother, and the guest, Mr. Sankarali, I think, and the sister. A beautiful, beautiful discourse.
Thank you.
Good having you.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful discourse. I've seen the goodly gentleman in many, many spaces, and I'm sure you've seen my face as well.
I know you when you were in your teens.
What do you see?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So started my practicing of the Orisha faith, although I was actually sort of born into it in spiritual Baptist and, you know, running away to feast and all this stuff. At 9 years old, I had my manifestation of a sign. So my journey began very, very young, being around Mother Lenin, better known as Mother Connor. And what I really, really, really admire is that where the tradition came from to where it is today.
Ben.
We have come a long way to people now realizing, you know, there are some things that we need to get rid of, not really get rid of totally, but there are some things that we need to stop, you know, implementing within our African practices or during our African practices. And I remember my shrine being one of them, and Mother Joan Cyrus, and a few others well used to practice the liturgy to the Orishas when they have the Orisha nights or the Orisha prayers, so that people now, the young people now, were able to know, hey, this is something I want to learn, and it's something I want to be part of. And so you're hearing now the liturgy and the prayers in Yoruba, you know, for the Orishas and stuff. So we've come a long way. So I don't think the IFA Foundation has too much work to do. I think they are now putting the icing on the cake.
Benny.
You know, they are putting the icing on the cake because our elders of old, you know, they fought very hard in the corridors of government for us to even the license to practice marriages. So, so they have been working, and I've also been part of committees that have also been instrumental to the holistic development of African sacred science in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to just give a little taste of something here.
You go ahead, Baba.
Many Orisha elders, even now, although they practice Ifa, they went on the mourning ground.
Benny.
I wouldn't call some names, but there are many famous names of Ifa devotees and elders of the Ifa community that have shrines and temples, as they may call it, that once came from spiritual baptism. We take out the Jesus philosophy, but they still do mourn. I is one of them. And I'm proud to be one of them, because you don't have to go and mourn and have Christian thing on the mourning, because mourning is an African practice for those who know where it came from.
Well said, Baba. Well said. Well said, Baba.
It is not a Christian thing. Mourning is not. That is why when Baptists go to mourn, they travel the spirit world, because it have no division in the spirit world. They were able to communicate with their ancestors.
Benny.
And if you look back at the show, the Black Panther, you will see where mourning was actually placed in one of the scenes.
Yeah.
Where he was placed in the earth and was sent into the spirit world to communicate with his ancestors. So continue doing a very good job. And I pray Olodumare give you all the strength. I pray Olodumare give you all the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding. And just to add this one to end it all, is that spiritual Baptist and Orisha people were very, very close-knitted in the days of old. They were very, very close-knitted. And so that is why in 1996, I think it was, when Basdeo Pandey at the time, when he gave the holiday to the spiritual Baptist people, he thought that spiritual Baptist and Orisha people were one.
Yeah.
So the holiday was not only for spiritual Baptists, it was for also the Orisha community. So when the Orisha community say, we don't have a holiday, yes, we do. All they probably need to go into the system and say, listen, let me add this in, spiritual Baptist and Orisha holiday.
Benny.
Because I remember when the holiday did not come, for those who know, was spiritual Baptist and Orisha people used to be in the same savannah. Spiritual Baptist and Orisha people used to be in the same savannah. The Orisha people used to be playing the Orisha drum and singing for Orisha, and the Baptist people used to be shouting, and everybody was having a grand time. And one day, March the 30th, Thank you for having me, guys, and that was food for thought.
Baba,
and have a great evening.
Baba, I will just give you the opportunity to invite the nation to your festival coming up. You just invite everybody, Tell us about your festival that is coming up.
Thank you very much. On the 18th of October, from 8 p.m. till 1 a.m. in the morning, to October the 20th, from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, and then we end with a grand finale on the 21st, which begins on the 21st of October, which starts at 10 p.m. until, when we say until, it means sometime we go until afternoon, next day.
Right down till we lie down.
Right? So we are inviting the public. We are going to be having guests, people from Haiti. We're going to have some people from Haiti coming in. We're going to be having people from entourage from the United States of America, from Florida. We're going to have people from Yoruba land. We are having, I think we have a guest coming in from Cuba as well to witness this year's feast. This year is our 26th year of steeping feast, and so we invite the public. Our theme this year is stepping into our freedom or setting ourselves free. So all are invited.
Thank you very much, Baba.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Same to you, Baba. So the lines are open 3420081. That's 3420081771191. That's my WhatsApp number. Call us up. Just get interactive with Jada, Ugunkai, and Burton Sankarile. You know, I keep pronouncing the name.
I want to just touch on something that Baba said that gonna lead into something else when he was talking about how people don't know that when Basio Pandey gave the holiday that it was actually for both of us. It was for both of us because he thought that there was no distinction between the two of us, and that's something that I didn't even know. That's something that I didn't know. So I'm sure that's something that a lot of people didn't know, which touching on what it is I always try to say and I always try to push forward, and something that the foundation always tries to push forward as well is knowledge. We try to always get people to understand we need the knowledge, because there are a lot of us out here who have the knowledge within the tradition, but we refuse to share it with anybody else. For whatever reason, I don't know. I thought knowledge was made to share. You know?
But I believe some of the reason why some of the elders hold on to some of the knowledge because some of us in the tradition aren't ready. Some of us take the knowledge and use it for the wrong things.
Oh yeah, that's our next thing. That's another thing. So we nobody wants to listen. So therefore nobody wants to teach. And then we constantly have a regurgitating cycle that nobody wants to break. And we now have the stigma with young people within the tradition as well, where you realize you see a lot of young people go feast and stuff. When you're seeing people talking and you have guest speakers and stuff, they don't want to hear that.
Not outside.
They don't want to hear that. They're outside. They don't want to hear that. They're not coming there for that. You know what they come in there for? They come in here for manifestation. Them coming here to see bacchanal. They come in here to see all kind of things. So we now have people who no longer rely on knowledge. They no longer see the importance of being taught something. So therefore we now have young people in the tradition, my age and younger and older, feeling that they no longer have to be taught anything, so nobody has to tell them anything. So then we adopt this type of attitude within the tradition as well. So it makes the elders as well not want to have to deal with us. As much as we as the young ones could come across and say a lot of times, well, the elders don't want to teach us. That's not the case for all of us. Sometimes the case for some of us is the elders do want to teach us. We make ourselves unteachable.
I just touch on some of the comments here. I would like only boss lady Nikki to call in. I like her to call in. It just says true talking. Yes. She also says, and the two are shouters. Shane says we were called Shango Baptist at one point, so there was the assumption that all Baptists were the same. Baba Arula Fakayode says some are too disrespectful. So laugh out loud.
Yep.
Only Boss Kitty says blessings.
Yep.
Arula Fakayode says power, they come, power, they want. No, because Jason King says some don't want teaching, they want teaching from Google.
Yes.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yes.
Google devotees, no.
Yes.
No, because, Jason King, I like it to call me 3420081, 3420081, WhatsApp 7711791. You could call me. Let's talk. Let people hear your voice. There's a person that has a lot of knowledge. And what you said there, because you will go a feast, Iba will be going on, messages will be passing, and on the floor, you're talking, everybody outside smoking, everybody outside drinking. And there's something why watching with our tradition that everybody just feast done, prayers go, everybody outside drinking. You could drink or whatever, but do it with some sense of decency. You know, and when they hear, picking they're running in.
Yeah.
They're running in the parley. You understand?
Manifestation is not the sole purpose of going to a shrine.
No.
You know, all they like to see manifestation, but you know when a manifestation come, and if you need to embarrass somebody, they're gone. You can't see them. You can't see them.
Yeah.
You understand? It's a lot. It's just
And
a lot.
I feel all
of
they
things.
need to put in, all they need to lace with the foundation also, this just me, all they need to lace with the drummers. Lace with some elders in the sense of formality, structure, discipline. You understand? But I just be watching some of the things going on, and it's not good to watch it in public, but we need to have some more. I mean, you see these 200 shrines, I would love to know where these 200 shrines are located in Trinidad, you know, and it's for everybody to know, because everybody want to be a Babalawo. Everybody cannot be a Babalawo. Everybody cannot be a Iyalorisha. You know, as they are saying in Baptist Church, not everybody can be the mother or the bishop. Somebody had to scrape up the candy grease on the floor. Somebody had to sweep the parley. Somebody had to put water in the goblet. Somebody had to light the candles. Somebody had to survey. And it goes on and on and on. And when you learn to do these basic things, you move up.
Yeah, but we no longer see that. You know?
Everybody want title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the superiority notion that we have amongst ourselves within the tradition, it needs to stop. Because it's something that all of us suffer from.
How
and I
would
know
it
that
stop?
knowledge.
How will it stop?
Well, this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm asking people to stop. I'm telling people to look at yourselves and understand that sometimes we are the problem.
You know what they want to say? Who is you?
Exactly. You don't have to
You
understand
too
who is
young.
me.
Who is you?
That is alright. That is alright. But what I want people to know is that it's that same type of mentality that has us in the little pit that we're in right now. Because we've done a lot. We've progressed a lot. We've moved a lot away. We've moved a lot of walls. We've broken down a lot of barriers. But there are still a lot of things that we're not being conscious about and we're not being honest about with ourselves.
You know what could fix?
What we could fix.
All who want to be chief and all who want to be elder, because a chief, for you to be a chief, we'll get some licks for this, eh? You gotta be in charge of a community. You gotta know medicine. You gotta know everything. You gotta know so many people come to they could get help. And we need to have structure for these people to take charge. So when they see stupidness, they must be able to walk, just like all the Baptists are the archdiocese. When you do stupidness and the archdiocese, they give some legs. We supposed to have people in tradition. All right. Ogunka, that we're going on in your shrine. That is not the way. That is not the structure. That is not the format of how it's supposed to be done. And if you don't fix it, and if you don't do it, you'll close it down. That's
well, you see, you need people with that moral authority.
Now, where do you find
But
it?
you have
This
to.
is the thing. Where do you
I mean,
find
I
people
know a
with that
Babalawo.
moral authority?
I knew a Babalawo who told me, if you're a Babalawo, if you call yourself a Babalawo, you're a guardian of the tradition. That means you can't see stupidness going on and keep quiet. If you carry that title. but if you carry the title, you have to walk the walk. You have to live it. So you have the moral authority to correct. If a shrine or a supposed person who does work, or Orisha work is bringing the tradition into disrepute.
bad character.
There has to be some mechanism to correct the person. I don't know whether we have that, because the people who do it have to walk the walk. I mean, this is an extreme example I came across. I came across on the internet one time. This person, as far as I know, doesn't identify the tradition. He's what some people may want to call a Obia man, but I see a Obia man as a good thing, But this person was calling in the name of deities, of Hindu and Orisha deities, and cussing and carrying on, and I mean, like you're some kind of entertainer, but cussing and carrying on and vex and all kind of things. So, I mean, you need a way.
That is not good character.
Oh, no.
That is not good character.
But then there are some who are challenging to do. You have some of them who will challenge you and say, who are you to say what is good character?
True.
Who are you to tell me what I am doing is wrong?
Yeah, but if you
Who is
know,
you to question
if you
me?
know what you for, and you're doing the right thing, the powers of the universe will give you the right direction and the right way to move forward to deal with that said individual. Let's touch on some of the comments here. Shane says, listening to you all is like listening to me and my family speaking. Ishu Wale, Ishu Tunde, Fakayode, Ifa Shegun, Shango De, Aragba, Fakayode. These are the conversations that we've been having. This just says somebody have to be the watchman too. Only says the understanding is not of the whole anymore. The spirituality is there, but the sacrifice that it takes, we no longer want that. It's too much. This is so true. Stacey Gould says, that was supposed to be the role of the Council of Elders. Listra says, for you to be these things, it must be given to you from the Most High. Jason says, I think we have to start from learning the little things like, what is the eye of a calabash used for? Start small. Learn what a calabash represents before taking it up and use it before you bring bad energy to you and your home. You know, Jason is full of knowledge. And I mean, sometimes we go loggerhead, you know, but at the end of it, he's an elder, and I will sit and I will learn and I will understand. And I rather sit with elders and understand and try to take the pieces of the puzzle and put it together, because this tradition is not an easy tradition. You know, there are times where I feel like walking away, there are times I feel like gaining a rest, you know, because as a young person in the tradition, it is very hard. In the sense of getting proper information and proper knowledge, and on the next side, learning things not to do in the tradition. Because everybody, as Baba Arela Fakayode says, the young ones only coming in the tradition for Zeze.
Yep.
Zeze and more Zeze. And it is truth. If you serve the Irumale in the right way and your ancestors, everything will be good. As I say, Google Babalaos.
Nobody wants to go through the process of doing anything
Yeah,
anymore.
Calling.
Abora boy, aboshishe kola.
Pleasant good night. You know, I don't know how to say the answer for that. But blessings to the group, to you, Dylan Duke, and to Ifa Way of Life, a blessing. You know, something I would like to add is too much respect I decided to call in. Long ago, elders would have disciplined the youth. If it takes spiritual science to make a youth learn, and I'm talking about spiritual wickedness, I'm talking about disciplining a youth in the tradition or in the faith, that they would not lose disrespect for the faith and for the elders. I think this is the main problem within the tradition. And I personally think that we need to do more than what we are doing today. The few that is trying, I applaud them. But it takes more, because there's so much time we will know what is wrong, but yet still we will not put it into perspective. We will know that there are faith manifestations that is in peace. We will know that the manifestation is not of high realm or the holy thing, but yet still we entertain them. You know? So it's like everybody being defensive and accepting less and saying it's more. You know? I personally think elders of the tradition, elders those in authority, need to come together and pull back the tradition where the youth and some elders would not let the faith go astray.
Benny.
You know, that's my contribution towards the program. I love hearing Orisha way of life, and I honestly think that it should, because everybody know the problem, you know. Everybody know the problem. But to put it into practice or to stand for the truth, we don't want to do that.
True. True.
We are afraid to do that,
True.
honestly speaking.
Too much.
You know,
Too much
so
fakery.
have a blessed night. This is my contribution towards the show.
Thank you very much for your contribution, caller. Thank you very, very, very much, you know. And to you, Ella Burton, you see, you know, we seeing where the problem is and we knowing where the problem is. How, just as the caller says, we need to stand up and really deal with it head on. You know, we need to deal with it head on.
I think one issue that I think as a country, not just the Orisha community really, but as a country we have not faced is that maybe because it happened in my lifetime, you know, when the oil money started flooding in here in the 1970s.
But I will stick up in your idea. In your time,
yes,
was the attitude like how it is now, or had it more? What not had it? That is not how it goes. Was there more respect and discipline within?
Well, I actually started getting active in the Orisha tradition in the 1990s, right? And I think from because I research I've pondered and researched aspects of our culture and the like, so I think our society began to change in my lifetime, but before I was in the tradition, like in the 1980s with the oil money and, you know, we want to be like American, and we've had a breakdown of our communities, right? And we like to blame young people, but the elders have to take responsibility for what's happening with young people. I mean, I don't know how popular of you that is. You know, it's very easy to criticize young people, you know. But to be an elder means you're taking that kind of responsibility and you have to pass it on. But that requires a community framework. And it's not only a problem in the Orisha community. A lot of our more community way of doing things has broken down. You know, African people in this country had, until to an extent, have a community that a lot of people don't want to talk about if they try to deny it, but there's an African community and an African presence in the Caribbean, a spirituality and a way of life. But so much of it is being eroded by this desire to be American and with the oil money and with the, you know, the technology and all of that. I'm not saying that we cannot use these things, but our shrines and the mapping shrines have to be centers where we build communities.
True.
You know, yeah. True. And where young people can find the love and the connection they're looking for. And where you can reach out and look to call young people to account, right? You know, some youth in the community acting out of hand. Who is going to talk to them, you know? Yeah.
Right, so I just going back to some of the comments here, you know. Lisha says here, some of the elders like to tell the youth, let the Spirit teach you, instead of them teaching them the meaning of the calabash, the water and the bell, and much more. Baba Arula Fakayode, he cropped it and he said, some of them don't know themselves, so how can they teach? Stacy Gould says, I was waiting for someone to say it. The elders dropped the ball. They greed, envy, and jealous. You know? And then they said the elders hate each other even amongst themselves. Baba Arula Fakayode says, elders did a lot of mess too, for real. I can tell you, because I saw so much back in the days. Then Baba, don't you think they shouldn't speak on the said topic if themselves have not the knowledge within oneself? Wow. Wow. Facts. Facts. I would like, you know, with all of these things being said, I would like to see some sense of togetherness, a different mindset, a different change, you know, because we ourselves bring discord and disarray to the community because why don't tell me that boys are shy go do for you? In the land that you live in, how could you be an Arusha? You did anything great for your country and nation? Or you did any you use Arusha and you want to do somebody this and that was making things bad for the community. You know? That is what making it something bad for the community. So you as an elder, I as a young one, we need to come together. Just like in this story says, I can't remember the Udo, that the cookie jar on top, the cupboard, the little child can't get it. But the elder took the cookie jar and bring it down. The elder cannot put his hands into the cookie jar because his hand's too big. So the little child put his hand into the cookie jar and take out the cookie, and the elder and the child could have had a cookie together. I can't remember the story where it come from, the Udo where it come from, but boy, this thing, so even by doing this program here, myself and King Shaka got licks from elders. Who are us? Who is we? Where we come from? You know? So elders should be glad. I think what do you see? Elders should be glad that you have any young people in tradition. I mean, round of applause to the Ifa Caribbean Foundation. And I want to get Jada all the praise because she alone here. But I mean, round of applause to the foundation for the work that they have been doing. Just as Baba Fakayude says, the elders of the past did the work because the struggles and the pain that our ancestors went through have me, Erin Falami. What he started, I am just a continuation of it. One day I will turn to the ancestral realm and I ask Olodumare that someone come here and sit down and continue the tradition. So we should be glad. I mean, look what they're doing. And the elders of today should sit back and say, well done. Let me see if we could strengthen them a little more. Let me see if we could work with them a little more. I go give you this piece of secret today. Learn this. I go give you this piece of secret. And you're keeping it secret and you're going back to the year 20.
Yeah.
So where do we go? Where do we start? Where do we begin? It starts with me walking into a parley, seeing a young drummer with his pants below his waist and telling him pull it up. Or you have a young girl between your legs. Nobody saying you can't smoke. Andrea? Nobody saying you can't smoke. You could smoke. But when you go to the parley and you go to the feast, you go and venerate too. Just don't run in the parley to see a manifestation. And then some of the manifestations of today are fake in the bakery. People practicing Shango steps, you know. I know an individual practice Shango step, go on a feast, and Shango is bat up on the ground, you know. You want to practice? You want to fool me?
Yes.
We had to come out of that. We have to come out of that. I mean, you are wrong a long time. You have seen great fish, great energy, and you could attest to yourself while you're saying down there that some of the manifestations you're seeing today is fake. We need to go back and connect. I don't know it. I don't know it all. I don't know it. I know a piece of it. I'm young in the tradition. I just ask Obatala, yes, I have a crown, Orisha that sits on my head. But I will ask, why it is when you go to feast, you don't see people singing much for Obatala. Why you don't see, I have never seen an Obatala manifestation except once in my prayers home. Until you really live the life of one of the oldest divinity, Orishanla. It's not easy.
You know, I think the main way in which we honored Obatala in Trinidad is in the form of Elephant and in the leap year feast. You know, I think that is an aspect or a part of Obatala, you know. But these different aspects have different characteristics. They aim to teach us different things and all of that, you know. So, but I think that's a good point, you know. Obatala is he's the king of the.
That's the oldest divinity, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see, you see how soon manifested Ayamocha Shango, how sign Ubaluaye, because I am not an initiate. I learned that from Baba Raila Fakayode, so I would not call it by the next name, you know. And you will see all these manifestations, you know, and the only places I will hear sing. I've never been to Tableland, so I don't know. I've been to Itaosa, the Obatala shrine, you know, by Obatala King of Trinidad, you know, Obala.
Right here.
Yeah. By Keran Kid, they will sing. By Osumeji, they will sing for Obatala, but I believe it's the pureness and the even myself as an Obatala initiate to really live and walk the road of Obatala. It's not easy.
No.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. But I mean, I know Jada Yarago now. I know. I hope and pray that the foundation continue to strive. People will come and people will go. Or they will get manipulated or they'll get fired on. I hope and pray that all the Ori really guide all you. I mean, it's a group of good people that I have here. I don't see them enough, but I hold you all there, and I really hope that all you can really stick it out and bring that change, and that database could really come forward. I know it's not easy, because from since inception when I met you guys, I hearing about the putting together the database and all the work, and for 5 people and for you Ella with the mapping, I mean, for me to hear it have.
And another member of our committee is Mindy Giles, who I think a lot of people there will know is been a member of our have been journeying with us.
So you have been going to in a vehicle and going around to different villages.
Well, yes, you could say that. Or sometimes I'm in an area and you know it's like the thing take me and.
Because I've seen you. I've seen you as far as by Ialoisha Cave Freezer already.
Cave Freezer. That is South Oropuch.
I saw you there.
That's a historic pally. That's Mother Rose's original pally.
You know what amazed me? And look, what amazed me.
Mother. Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if it's because of the program or if it's because of the person. I don't know that I am or whatsoever. These elders across Trinidad will always keep a connection with me. And Ialoisha Kefeza, she even came to my Thanksgiving for my birthday at my residence in August. You know, she made the journey, she and her husband. You know, they are like elders, they are like parents to me. And I mean, I went to this shrine, this spot, and they have a pole with hands.
That is by Shaka, well, not by Shaka, but in Santa Flora up there, you mean?
No, that is by Ialoisha Kefeza.
Right, okay.
Yeah, you know, and I was amazed. Something that, I mean, we really need to journey to some of these spaces. And see different practices and see different things that happens in some of these spaces. I mean,
okay, yeah.
You know, I even while I was working, I made a journey down to where Catherine Brezan, Mother Connox space was, and you can go there and still feel the energy.
In Moruga?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that space is still there.
When you went there? I was there. I went there last year.
I went.
There's
I think I went looking for it last year, and I ended up in some forest.
No, what there is, there's the forest, and there's look, Baba Okan came on Congo.
Baba Okan, yeah.
He's a very old pally, a man with a lot of.
Oh, yeah, he could tell you all about that pally.
by Catherine Bezan Mother. I even call HSM Baba Fakayode. I have a picture in my uniform.
So the structure is still there?
What is there is the frontal structure of the house covered by bush, and there's a rocking chair to the center of the house. When you reach there, if you are that connected, you can feel, because I stood up and I was like, wow. Hey,
because
time for me to leave here, boy.
I went looking for there, and they tell me it was. I got up in the bush. There were a couple. There was another person doing work there, and I heard he passed. And then I met another gentleman, but I wouldn't go into that conversation. I think it was on that same road, because I did about 4 or 5 visits to Maruga last year.
And I will put up the picture.
Okay.
That I took, because I took a picture with my back towards the house, because you can see the frontal of the house, and it is covered by greenery.
Right.
But to the bottom, there is no bush here. And there's a rocking chair right there, looking at you.
Oh, jeez. All right.
And it was, you know, and just as Baba Okan says, Congo Palais, I mean, some of us don't know about Congo Palais.
Like K-Freezer, that was...
You know? And
Mother Diana, Mother Rose, Sheppy
when
Mother.
When I went there and I saw there, I was fascinated.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, even if you go by Shaka down in
Santa Flora, yeah.
His palace is beautiful.
Oh, yes, I've been there.
You go to Osun Meiji, you know, their palace is beautiful.
Tableland.
You know, I need to go to Tableland. I need to go to Joan Cyrus Alkebulan is very beautiful. I went there and I said to myself, wow, this is a shrine.
One sacred space that needs some work, which is where Mad Diamond came from. And that's in Maruga. Let's just say it's called Jumbie Patch.
Yeah, the name of these places now. I mean, these are
needs work, but
these are nice stories
to
set. And hear this name. No, I've been very intrigued of these kind of things. I can talk to you all night. Jumbie Patch. I will ask you, what is Jumbie Patch? Where did Jumbie Patch arrive from? What happens in Jumbie Patch today that happens yesterday?
It needs some work. A couple elders there who are kind of keeping the place, but
look. Baba Lafaka says the name of a church was called St. Anthony Catholic Healing Church, and I will tell you this story. I had the opportunity to meet her.
Meet who?
Catherine Bezan.
Who? Okay. Okay.
I met her once.
Okay.
And I ran when I saw her.
Okay.
I had the opportunity. I was about 12, somewhere around there. I'm 43 now. I had the opportunity, and I mean, these people, these elders is who paved the way for us. They are now in the ancestral realm, and we must pay homage to them. By all means, I mean, look, I never hear about what you call it?
Jumbie Patch.
And first I like talk, I go back to it. Where is Jumbie Patch? You know, and these are the stories that we had the parley, and we bring the children of the community. Like in the days when we had Ricky Tiki and all these things. I know Jada, you ain't gonna know about that. This is a little baby. You know? When we had Ricky Tiki and then here Paul King Douglas, and when he's telling you a story, you're feeling, when he tell you a story about some sukuya or something, you're feeling like it's really coming for you. You know? And this is what we need. And I mean, if a foundation, we get children to come in the parley and really sit down and woo them and let them understand and let them feel and appreciate what the tradition, what the community is about, and let them learn. You know? And I say this here on National Radio, we need to do that. I mean, people like you, it should that when we come 40, 50 children sit down in front of you and you gain them history, you learn them know. You know? Baba Okan and them, you know, Catholic means universal. Jason King. This is a good idea for me, so I will know where the next piece is, you know. And I must say, The program.
You go on.
The program had its
Call me. I want you. Call me. Yeah.
had its ups and downs. You know, we busy coming around. I mean, this is a nice conversation. You know, HSM Barbarella Fakayode says, Mother Fanny, Mother Emma, Berryton. You know these people. I know.
Mother Fanny, you're talking in Downing Trace. Is that Mother Fanny you're talking about? What's that Mother? I've been to Downing. I don't believe the space is still active.
Oh.
That I mean, that space is like very basic. You know, it's like flambeau candlelight. I mean, yeah, it was. Maybe a couple of times in.
But Jumbie Patch brought out my Diamond Panisa Pa Francis. But Jumbie Patch is in Moruga itself.
Yes, it's in Moruga.
Is this space still being used?
I don't know if there's regular ritual there, but there's a certain area in Jumbie Patch that is being earmarked. They have a couple basic stools there, and there are a couple elders kind of watching over it. But it's not particularly active. And I suspect there might be some other spots in the patch that might need exploration. You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What? Western Chase.
Oh, gee, somebody know the road.
Like
Okay.
Baba Okan.
Oh, yeah.
Baba Okan is saying it. You know, that same place you're talking about.
Yeah. I forgot the exact name. I mean, I with W. Yeah, Western
But
Chase,
Moruga, from this conversation here, he says they all pass away. Is it that Baba Okan or HSM Baba Arila Fakayode, can you all call me? Is it that Moruga has a rich,
Oh, yes.
very rich
Maruga's reputation, I too know, was quite deserved. Deserved, yeah. And there's some elders, I'm sure I remember all the names, but there seems to be a clip of elders in Moruga with connections with what we might call science. Even though Pan Nisa did not deal with that aspect, he came from Moruga and he has his spot that is being preserved. So, you know, but yeah, you see there's some very interesting things, you know. I found an old space that's no longer active, but some of it is still there, that was associated with another elder. I don't know whether Martin was his first name or surname, but there's out there, yeah. I met the grandson of another elder who's still trying to keep up a space there, you know.
I mean, these spaces should be preserved, that young people like myself in the tradition should be able to go and actually sit in these spaces and
I think so.
Feel the energy and relate with some of the people.
There's a younger person trying to maintain an all-purpose shrine for all kind of work in the bush of Saunders Trace.
Where that is?
It's a pretty big road, but it could be in better shape, and it kind of runs through a semi-industrial area, but there's still a lot of like trees and things there.
Is that South Moruga?
No, Moruga. It kind of runs parallel to the Moruga Road, then it kind of veers off, and then apparently it gets very bad and ends up in Guayari. You can't go there in a car. You go there, you think you're in another planet. But Saunders Trace. But someone is actually trying to maintain an all-purpose space somewhere like where they have trees and things growing there. I came upon him in the middle of rain and flood and thing. He must think it's a zombie coming by. You know? And I spoke to this guy, and he's trying to have an all-purpose space there, you know. So there are very interesting spaces. Another important part of the country, and I want to plug for that we have not paid attention to, is Gasparillo.
Okay.
Gasparillo was a settlement of where the African nations of different traditions, they settled there. So when you look at the history of Gasparillo, it's Africans who own the land. African families, you know, who own the land-owning Africans, you know. I'm not sure how much of that has been eroded. But according to history that was done by J.D. Elder in the 1960s, there was still something of a traditional African formation in Gasparillo. This is in the second half of the 20th century. And when you go to sites in Gasparillo, you realize there are still these kind of sites there. There are 2 or 3 Baptist spaces that have Orisha history in Gasparillo. And you're talking about the connection with Baptist and Orisha. Apparently at a certain point, people felt that, okay, Baptist might be more respectable or it's more formatted, they know what you're doing. So they started doing Baptist work on these spaces. But Gasparillo has a tremendous history and it needs proper research and proper work needs to happen in that community. It's a strong African center.
You know, Jason King says here, Ma Diamond and Cummins to be straight.
Oh, yes.
You know,
that's the name I got
can
for
call
her,
up.
Ma Diamond Cummins, which isn't that surname often is not known. Yeah.
Wow. Let me take this call here. Abora boy abo shishe.
But God, I have me laughing here.
I am not loving this.
I have me laughing here. I born and bred in Moruga. So in Edward Trace to be exact.
What Trace?
Edward Trace.
Edward Trace.
Yeah, you born in Moruga, but you also break out in Lavantil. You're not easy.
Well, this is what I'm saying here.
You're not easy. I didn't even know about you in Moruga. You have the whole place covered.
You know, I remember my grandmother telling me a story of Papa Niza. And she telling me that Papa Niza, she said that man wasn't easy, you know. They used to call him, they used to have a Jack Spanier nest in bed.
Is that historically? I know one researcher who felt that did not do justice to Papa Niza to be saying things.
Well, here what's going on, remember?
I want to hear the story.
What I tell you what my grandmother saying,
Right.
you know? And I remember she saying that she go carry when we misbehaving, she go carry by Lengua in Lengua village. So Pa Niza go let Jack Spanier bite me up.
Yeah,
You know?
things grandparents, yeah, tell them.
You know, so he was really he was covered with mystery as a magical person.
Yes.
Even Mother Cornox, who I happen to live by at a point in time, she taught me a lot of medicine, herbal medicine. And I remember as a child, Stina received an award by the late Dr. Eric Williams for the great spiritual healer of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
Yes. So if people go back in history, they will see that she was the only spiritualist to receive an award by the late Dr. Eric Williams.
Whoa.
Yes. Because he and she used to be communicating. I've heard when she speak, she said that man is a great man. And she used to talk about him a lot. I remember those stories.
Right.
And I remember there was a bitter contradiction with the Catholic priest and Mother Lenny. She never liked people call she Mother Connor, but I say Mother Connor for people who listening to understand. But there was a contradiction between she and the Catholic priest where he was trying to actually conform to Catholicism because they wanted her to remove the name Catholic from her church. So there was a big bacchanal and she got a cut. She said, no, none of them could tell me to move anything from my church. God gave me my church. And I'm going to remain St. Anthony Catholic Healing School. Let them come and close it down if they name God. So they had a scare for her. You know? So Moruga is shrouded with mystery, with the mystery tomb and all these different things. There were so many things. No, there was, and for a matter of fact, Moruga, still up to this day, there are people in Moruga that still practice the art of Legoism.
Of what?
The art of Legoism.
What is that?
To be a lagahu. Right? Whether it's in the female form or the male form, which is known as the lagahu, and the female form as the sukoyant.
okay, I never realized that they were counterparts of each other because
Yes.
the Lagawu is the werewolf and the Sukuya flies at night.
Nah,
I think they were
they
also
are-
male Sukuya as well, from what I've heard. Yeah.
No, the female is the Sukuya because but the male is the Lagahu.
Okay, okay.
Because the female was known as today, as we will call it in Yoruba tradition, as Ajay or Iyamis.
Okay.
They fly. Hmm?
Wow, wow, wow,
Right.
wow. Information, man, information.
Yeah, so up to this day, there's still a particular snake in the back of Mother Connacht's place. That anybody dare to go there, I am sorry for them. And in that space, they have an obi tree. That obi, I don't know if the obi tree still exists, but I know obi seed used to fluster back at the compound. But there's a mackerel snake in the back there, so we don't go back there again.
I visited there. I remember I told you that Babarilla, I visited there last year when I was working down there, and the place. I mean, I didn't venture inside. I stayed at the.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't find it. Yes.
Up to this day, there are a lot of people scared to go into the compound.
Oh, jeez.
Because when you go into the compound, that energy is still there.
It is. It is. It is.
Mother Connacht was Paniza's spiritual child, right? Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that. How Mother Connacht came to Muruga, she used to live in this place called Siparia.
Okay.
And the spirit moved her to leave everything and walk. So she started walking from Siparia, bare feet,
Okay.
straight up to Muruga, where the spirit tells she, this is the place where you would live now.
Because Paniza mentored, he mentored people. Like Paniza mentored Mother Rose.
For
For instance, and I wouldn't be surprised if something went on there with Mother Connacht,
they may have a close relationship because they were known as the two legendary Obia practitioners in Muruga.
Yeah, and Paniza, would have been the elder, I would think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Mother Jean Bob, who passed away, Yellow Richa, Mother Jean Bob, and Mother Connacht were very close friends.
Okay, right.
Mother Jean Bob passed away when
Mother Jean Bob?
Yeah, a few months ago.
Did I hear?
She's my spiritual teacher.
She's Princess Stone?
Princess Stone, Irie Village.
Irie Village, yeah.
You know, there's so much of things in Edward Trace and in Muruga environ that the public, if they get to find out, they will say, oh God, me going back deep. But there are a lot of things that happen, even a lot of shrines, a lot of Orisha practice, took place there. A lot of people, practice, the art of transformation, turning into animals. I have witnessed some of it. So I'm not talking what I don't know, I'm talking what I know.
Yeah, nothing in Muruga would surprise me, I think. Yeah.
Raja bless. All these things existed. People could say what they want. Raja bless. Tukuya. Lagahu.
Yes.
I myself thought these were myths.
Muruga also has 2 or 3 Kali temples. And 2 of these temples I've been to. They do what they call the fire pass, where they walk on the burning coals. It happens that
is in St. Mary's.
It may happen elsewhere in Trinidad, but 2 of them in Muruga, do that.
Yes, St. Mary's, Muruga. I think you have to fast 40 days before you go there.
There's one early up before you actually get into St. Mary's, and then there's one a good way down. A good way down.
That's by like Leader Thunders.
And actually, because this came up in my research, because one of the young men who carry on the Kali Puja does Orisha work as well, an Indian young man. So it shows how, so it shows in terms of seeing Orisha worship spaces, the kind of spaces that that you will find. There was this young man there that was that does that. So it's very interesting, to find out, exactly what is going on in the tradition at this time. We may not properly appreciate all the different variations and the things that are happening, on the ground, as it were.
Mm-hmm. I just want to add this last thing before I leave, and I think this is for Olorisha here, my brother. The tomb of Pan Lisa, up to this day, is considered taboo by many people.
I've visited it a couple times. I was there when there was like a reconsecration. This was a few years ago, and it was an interesting ceremony because they did both a Christian, because Pan Lisa was also, I believe, an independent or a London Baptist. I think an independent Baptist. He is buried in a church, not a spiritual Baptist. A conventional Christian Baptist church.
He buried in the Third Company Baptist Church Cemetery.
Yeah, and they did a reconsecration some years ago. I remember, I think Pagan beat drum, Oludari was there, the church minister was there, so he did some of the Christian thing inside, and we went around the grave and we did some, singing and ritual and the like. But they have since rebuilt the church. It looks quite different now. I don't know whether there's more of this, kind of Pentecostal element in it. No, I mean, judging from the architecture, I don't know, but it will be very interesting. In terms of what's happening in that tomb.
I'm glad they open it. I'm glad they open it to the public. But many people who live in Moruga have a fear to go by that tomb. They're like, no.
Which tomb is
Pan Lisa's grave in Moruga. Yeah. But the thing, you can visit it. It's not far from the entrance, next to the church. You can just go in and
you and I go visit it, but we know about it. Not many people go do that.
Yeah.
London Baptist. Who is that? See, Baba, who can now put that up?
London. Oh, you mean Pan Lisa's London Baptist or Independent Baptist, Baba? There was kind of politics in terms of how those two names came about. I don't think they were really all that different. The Independent Baptist were Baptists who tried to more hold on to the actual traditions of the Americans, who are American Baptists. And then the London Mission came and tried to rein them in. So there was a kind of a power struggle. But from the little I've come across, even in the London Baptist side, they had to make the compromises and let the people do what they wanted to do. But I'm not an expert on that bit of history. But the Independent Baptists maintained more their independence. Yeah.
Let's see. Pleasant good night, caller.
Yeah, this is me, Baba Okan.
Yes, Baba Okan.
Hey, Baba. Yes.
What's up?
Well, the conversation is very beautiful.
Yes, Baba Okan. Hey, Baba. Yes.
Beautiful conversation tonight. Beautiful conversation.
Oh, thank you. He's a man that like to correct me, so I'm very glad.
Baba, you could load on your listening device a little bit, please.
Sure. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. I know you might be called to give us some history.
Yes, well, Pan Lisa was London Baptist.
Okay, London Baptist. Okay. Yeah.
So tell me something about the Congo Palais and them.
You like the Congo Palais?
Yeah, well.
Well, I could tell you that when Mother Rose got the work, the spiritual work, when Mother Rose got the spiritual work to do, and she began to get a manifestation of Yemonja, Pan Lisa left Jumbi. Was Jumbi part at the time or
Lengua? It would have been Lengua. Yeah.
Lengua. Pan Lisa left and traveled in those days to Berridge Trace. He traveled to Berridge Trace to see the manifestation.
Yes.
Because of his relationship with Yemonja. Pan Lisa was a child of Yemonja.
Okay.
And though there were many people manifesting Yemonja, to manifest that particular Yemonja is what brought him out. Because that Yemoncha that Mother Rose used to manifest as the queen of the seven seas, an old mermaid.
Yeah. I
The
don't
queen
know.
of the seven seas.
I don't know how many people will be aware of this, but Mother Rose was Sheppy's mother, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And shows that influence, you know, that wide influence that Panizas had across, you know, you know.
Pa Nisa, Pa Francis, all of them went. They went to see that manifestation.
That's Francis from Maruga?
Oh, Pa Francis.
From
From
Maruga?
Gandhi Patch.
But there was an
Yeah.
from Maruga, yeah, I know the older Francis, yeah.
Pa Francis.
Yeah, I know
The
the
old
older
man.
Francis, yeah.
The man who used to be battling or testing Pa Nisa.
Right.
And you have some powerful stories coming out of that. Pa Francis, leg was shot at Pa Nisa to blind him. And Pa Nisa lie down in his hand and call as the boy walking up a message to Pa Francis to collect so-and-so bush and use it on your eyes.
Right.
And use it on his eyes.
Yes.
They were so good. They were good friends.
Right.
They were good friends, but they used to play some rough games. Yeah, they used to play some rough games, brother.
Yeah. And even that used to happen, you know. I remember hearing a story how in a spirit of play, no malice intended, when town people meet south people at a feast, they will just start sending a little shot at each other to see who will go into manifestation first. No malice intended. Because it was a town source, they said the town source would always win from yeah, you know. No malice intended. But Baba, you might know that there seems to be, from my research, a clip of some of those elders, not including Pan Nisa. He was different. But a clip of them who seem to be masters of the esoteric science, you know, coming from Aruba.
Well,
a group
John,
of them. Pa Nisa was not in that. Please, I want to make that clear. But,
Pa do good.
Yeah.
John Lindsay, he was a master of the esoteric also.
Well, in his own way, I would think, yeah.
And there's a story that is still known by certain. A matter of fact, the witness to this was a guy called Leader Alwyn.
Yes, I know the drummer, master drummer too, yeah.
Leader Alwyn, waiting at the corner, buried straight while rain falling. Yes, Pa Lindsay was walking inside in the under heavy showers, and he calls Alwyn. Alwyn was a little child, a young boy in those days, and Alwyn when Alwyn in space, they walked in the heavy shower, and not a drop of water in either of them.
That is Elder John
kinda,
Lindsay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Isaac's father. Yeah.
He was a master of the esoteric.
Well, no, he was from Grenada, yeah, and they were, yeah, he was. No, he was definitely.
No,
yeah.
the young ones still would like to know how he did that.
I hear they say Panis, I used to make bench come off the ground and things.
You see, they had science to call rain.
Yes.
They used to call the rain.
The
stop the
Gasparillo.
rain. Well, you know, I have told you of things I saw for myself.
They had the Gasparillo and the Caratal Yoruba. They said they could have called rain and
of course.
And so. And apparently, some of their descendants still have that gift.
Well, I don't know if the descendants still have it.
I
but
met
what
a
I
descendant
do know,
who, and she and her son have a similar kind of gift. Yeah, at least this one. Yeah.
well, that's great.
Yeah.
Because Mother Rose used to do that. She could have called the rain and stopped the rain.
Yeah.
She could have. A matter of fact, if she wanted, she could have called up a storm. Because there was a prayer that Nisa used to say that he taught her. And a prayer that addresses Oya as Efufulele, yes, as a hurricane, as the hurricane that breaks off the top of the trees. There's an ancient address to Oya. You find in some of the modern Orikis, though it's not exactly the same way we used to say it. But they would call Oya Efufulele ki dagi boloki. And if you go to some of the Orikis coming from Nigeria of Oya, you'd see Efufulele ki dagi loki loki. Very, very close, meaning the same thing.
Yeah.
Meaning the same things.
So why is there this gap from that time till now? Why wasn't these secrets handed down?
They were handed down. What happened is that Trinidadians like to run. Trinidadians love to run after something that looks new to them. But the science is still there. The science is still there. There are people in Trinidad. Who can call fire out of thin air. That's an ancient African science. Who can do it right now? If I was, I could call him, but I wouldn't do that out of respect for the people on the air. But there are people in Trinidad who could call fire out of thin air. And I could say for myself that I saw it for myself. I have seen it for myself.
But I think, but I think as well, like in the context of the feast, they will say back in the day, you go to a feast, you would see magic, you would see things happening. I think part of the problem refers to us talking about this breakdown in communities and the breakdown in the discipline. I mean, to do certain things requires a certain discipline. And
Burton.
Yes.
Burton, the problem of indiscipline was there from even in the old days. But the elders used to deal with it. You see, when the rest are whammy in your backside, it's because you will start to walk straight. But now the young ones could disrespect you with impunity. The young ones did disrespect you with impunity.
Yeah.
With impunity. In the old days, you disrespect an elder, you sit down there for the rest of the night. You can't move.
I think, like I'm told, like in the old feast, that the people involved in the feast wouldn't leave the compound for the week. The drummers would have to stay there. People watching them to make sure they don't interfere with no one, that they remain clean and all of that.
Very
and there were all these disciplines. Now people going home, they think they're going to work, they know that kind of thing. And a lot of it is by necessity. You don't know what they're doing, you don't know what energies they're picking up, and they bring it in the space. So I think that's an issue as well. That kind of discipline, apart from flagrant acts of indiscipline, which might also be worse now. But those things that could have more been enforced in those days.
Let me say this. Let me say this, Burton. When Pa Millen used to give feast, Pa Millen, deceased Pa Millen.
Yeah. Went to his compound, yeah.
I was there the night when, and it happened more than once, when Zico, or Sheppy as you used to call him, Sheppy, Isaac, took up the mother drum. Penko on the Omele, Pagan on the Congo, and Zik and the Sheppy started to play for Shango. I could never forget the song he was singing, Ojo Pewe Koko. And everybody chanting, Koleya, Koya, and they're going down the road with that. I was outside the palais, and I remember when Sheppy started to cut the mother drum, the alu, when he started to play it, and with the strokes he hitting, you saw the lightning bursting coming. Lightning bursting coming through the heavens, coming towards the palace.
Let me hit it. You see that?
I was there, I saw that happen. Lightning is coming. And when the lightning reached over the palace, it's because Parmilan was under heavy manifestation. Shango Abakoso.
Yes. Magic? You couldn't go feast and not see magic?
Exactly.
But why is there a breakdown in the feast today?
To me, the breakdown is that people, because the majority of people, there's a breakdown because the majority of people don't know what the songs are saying anymore. In the late 70s, when the very first Babas came from Nigeria, and I remember that week, the first guy came. We went by Sheppy that week because he had feast. And when we left the feast the Friday morning, okay, the Babalawo could have written some of the songs he was singing. He could have written some of the songs you're saying. I read this song. I recognize this song. He's the person who gave me the translation for Dada Masukuma. That's since in the 1970s. He gave me the translation for Aduro De Yaba Shokoto and explained to me what was the purpose of that song. When I go to have these experiences, okay, and today if you bring a Baba today from Nigeria in a palais now, he's not going to make out any song people sing. He wouldn't have a clue what the hell people singing. So what was the difference? What was the difference at the end of in the 1970s when a priest from Nigeria could have make all these songs he's saying and know what we're saying? And today, a priest comes from Nigeria and you're carrying him in a pali and he doesn't know what the hell people singing. We need to chew on that and understand, and understand where we have fallen. Because I sit here and hear people singing funeral songs in Thanksgiving. What? People singing funeral songs to bury dead as ancestral songs in Thanksgiving. I sit down and witness that. And you're wondering why things going wrong? Really?
But Baba Okan, give us an example of some of the songs that they using the wrong wording for.
Listen, I don't want to get myself put in cattle belly cross-size, and I could do it. I don't want no Bigfoot. Okay. Because if I call some of these songs right now, people know who I'm referring to. Okay, and I don't want to be.
I mean, sorry. Yeah.
But I could say safely, okay, if people knew and had a better understanding of the songs that they were singing, you would see miracles and magic into the Orisha worship. People could pronounce, could understand what this song is saying, what that song is saying. Because you have people singing things that they don't know what they're saying. And if you don't know, you could be making a hell of a mistake. Back in the 70s, the Nigerian guy told me, he said, when Oya has come in front of Shango, and you want to get Shango to come, you sing this song. That is the song that goes, Aduro de Yaba Shokoto, with Mboreli to put on your pants. Sokoto, right? You see, the song is saying that we waited on you to put on your pants. That's what the song is saying. And you sing that when Oya has preceded Shango in the pali, and she's waiting on her husband to come. Okay? So now you raise that song, and you'll see Shango bong to reach. Because this is things I've seen already.
And just like how there are songs to call the Orisha, and there are songs to appease the Orisha.
Correct.
And there are songs so when the Orisha is ready to go.
Correct.
You sing. Some
Yes.
people are singing the wrong things.
Yes.
Yeah. You have songs for Shango when he's ready to go. You have songs for when he's ready to eat. When Shango is ready to eat, you have songs for that.
Even when he's working.
When he's working, you have songs for that.
I remember, Baba, you told me that the chants that are sung when Shango is eating the fire are actually a reenactment of Shango calling the thunderbolt, of Shango hanging himself, and he's like strangling, and he calls the fire, and the fire transforms him, and he becomes a deity. That is actually reenacted in the feast on the Friday nights. I want to know how many Trinidadians know that they're actually reenacting the story of Shango when he's eating the fire.
That song,
yeah.
When you're singing that song, he holds his neck. He holds his neck. Like the song, Amy Alado So, Anisha Nisha. That song is a reenactment of his deification. It's a reenactment of his deification. And everyone knows the story of his deification. And this is why he holds his neck. When he's eating, he holds on to his neck. He's training. And when you finish, he sings, Kolowa, Kolowa, Maiso. Maiso is the same thing I was saying. He didn't hang. Maiso. He didn't hang.
Wow.
He became fire.
And that fire now is what removes your sickness, your burdens, your problems away from you. And this is why after that song now, they would sing, Oni Shango Dawanu. Yeah, Dawana. When you hear them sing that, it means that he finished it. When you sing that, it means he has finished eating. Because that song now admonishes you not to take up what you drop off. You understand what I'm saying?
And then the feast done.
Well, that is the closing. Those are closing songs. So now what happens when you sing that is that if the water deity is like Yemanjan or Shon and them want to come in, they could come in at that point. They will come in at that point.
Sometimes at that point they begin to call all the energies in, and you're into the daylight Saturday morning, and even do it like a Thanksgiving kind of, and to end your feast.
And so, some people plant a sword.
Right.
So then after that, they make, for people who plant sword, they will then come to sing songs now for Ogun to come and pull his sword.
Yeah.
Because Shango is finished, he gone. He did what he had to do. But remember, it's not everybody has planted a sword.
Right. And in Trinidad, yeah.
And in that planting of the sword, there's another thing in it, in that if Ogun doesn't come and pull this sword, then it simply stays for the Delogun. But then the story of the Delogan is another thing that is lost among worshippers today. They don't know about the Delogan. And many people in the Delogan is when they would feed the children. What you call the Konkoto prayers or the Korikoto prayers. This is the ancient thing. This is how it used to be. Okay? For the Delogan is when they have the Thanksgiving. They might have the children's Thanksgiving during the day.
Okay.
And they would sing Ma Ada. Ma Ada, that is Nisa's wife, used to have a children's Thanksgiving, a Konkoto press. And you used to hear people like Montilo, Pa Montilo Williams, and them singing Konkoto Milodo, Orisha Yewe Milodo, Yewe o Konkoto Milodo, Orisha Yewe Milodo.
But they're not singing it so now, you know. They're not singing it like that now, you know.
Huh?
The way how they're singing it now is not like that, you know.
Of course not.
And
They're singing it now because the Igbe people, when they came to Trinidad, they brought a particular tone to it. And this is what the people and them more or less add up, because the old tone was lost. People didn't even know who Korikoto is. They didn't, like the Orisha of children.
And they sing that for Shango.
Yeah, that's how they're singing it now, because of the Igbe people. But thank God for the Igbe people, because it teaches them that Korikoto is not a Shango song. It's a story. It's a whole story of a river deity, a female river deity, who is the Orisha of children. She's the Orisha Iwer. Orisha Iwer Milodo. Kori Ayawo. Kori Ayawo. You see, these are the things that we have to gain, we have to come back with. We have to get back. Because Ma Ada was Nisa's wife. Used to give that prayers, the Konkoto prayers.
Oh.
Mm.
Now, in the north, they would call it the Korikoto prayers. Yeah. In the south, they would say Konkoto. And of course, you know, in north and south, always have some stupid argument, but correct. If someone say Konkoto prayers, they're correct. If they say Korikoto prayers, they're correct. It has no right and wrong in these things. It's just different parts of Yoruba land would use the slight variations in words. And this is why, because we don't understand this, when we get the song from a relay from Ikiti, you hear people will say today, Yahweh, Yahweh Kolodo, but it's not Yahweh, it's Awe.
Awe.
Awe. I think I explained that to you already, Booten, that Awe is the Ikiti way of saying Ore, meaning the favored one.
Right.
It can be translated favor or friend. But the Ikiti people say Awe. The Ikiti people also say Ule instead of Ile.
And the Ekuo as well, you think they're different pronunciation? Like, yeah.
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 Wow. Baba Relafakayo says, I wish the day will come and all of us as heads of Shrine sit and do translations for the next generation. Say, Kolema ka. So it is at this time we ask Shango for what we need and he will grant it because it means he cannot say no. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
He cannot say so. He cannot say no. I like it.
So after this time, when you have entertained Shango, that is the end of, unless the other energies come in.
I think, Baba, maybe you can clarify this. I think in Trinidad, the tradition has been to end it with singing to Ogun, while, elsewhere, people will end by singing to Eshu. I think in Trinidad, some of those close off.
No, hold on. You only sing for Ogun if you planted a sword.
Okay. No, because like a couple of those close-off songs apparently are chants for Ogun, but it's in Ogun in the context of locking the prayers off,
No. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Many people did not plant sword.
Yeah.
Many people did not plant sword. Mother Rose didn't used to plant any sword. Panisa didn't used to plant any sword. Okay? But there are people who the spirit come and plant the sword, and as I said, if it is that they're going to have a return, what you call the Logan, if they're going to have a return, then there may not be a need to pull the sword because they're going to have a return. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because between the two, the main feast and the return, that space is still considered sacred. That's why they call it the Logan after the word Merin the Logan. The 16 days. And This is why even when they sing the litany, you see the mention of seeing each other in the return and seeing the spirit in the Logan. The Merin the Logan.
Baba Arilla says here, you end the feast singing for Ogun if only you had planted it sword to begin feast. Not all shrine does that act. That's the same thing Baba was now saying here.
Because Ogun does not. Yeah, only if, you see, most people long time did not used to. Now they do. As I said, Nisa didn't used to do that. Mother Rose didn't used to do that. Okay? Pa Milan didn't used to do that.
I must say.
But people who do it, they are to call Ogun to pull it because Ogun is planted.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Baba Arilla says you find it more in tongue.
Yeah, he's correct.
The sword.
Right. He is correct. He is quite correct.
So, Baba, I'd like to thank you.
But closing the feast is not with Ogun song, eh?
Eh?
After Ogun pulls that sword, there are songs to close the feast. And I might surprise a few people if I only say a couple of these songs.
I will like it to say.
One of these songs they used to use to close feast and this in the south, is Erude Majuba Malo, Erude Majuba Maloye. Is one of these songs to close a feast.
Yeah. That is a sweet
Milan used to use that song to close the feast. Okay?
Yeah.
You have another song too that you could use to close feast. A song from Ado Ikiti. That is Adoko bi Adoko. Adoko, lele ile ko iwori. Adoko, lele ile ko iwori. Idoko, adoko bi adoko. Adoko, adoko bi adoko. Adoko, that's also a closing song for feast.
Baba Arilla says here, Erude means we came and it was a blessing and now we are going. Please don't let the blessings depart.
Huh?
Erude, Majuba
Malo. Erude, Majuba Maloye.
I love that song.
It's a song. It's a song that they would use to close a feast. It's a correct song to close a feast too. The other one is an older one. Let's say older because this one is more popular. The one Adoko Bi Adoko is not very popular. Most people don't know, but that's also a song to close a feast.
I never heard that one. I never heard that one. So, Baba, we out of time now. I must say I thank you very much.
Oh, yes.
For taking your time off to come and give us some information to you and Baba Arila Fakayode, my guest here, the Ella Burton, for taking time off. You know, I always see him in feasts all over Trinidad, you know, in gatherings, and I know tomorrow I will see him by Mother Marilyn in Lavantie Road.
That feast in Lavantie Road?
In the week, you know, we have...
Tomorrow we might have other plans.
Yeah, it have Usain Press in Lavantie Road tomorrow.
And Baba Ford's place is having feast from Wednesday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I just want to say, you know, it's easy to say negative things. I mean, you need to correct and to say things. I'm not saying no. But there are good things happening. I think one very good thing is that you're seeing a new generation of leadership coming in. I think you saw some of it this evening. And I think that's a very promising sign that we have young, vibrant leaders that can really carry this tradition in a positive place. And I just ask that these shrines become communities where our young people can grow, I think. And hopefully, and we pray that it is so.
Of course.
It is so, yes.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe.
So, Baba Okan, thank you very much.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed seeing my brother Burton up there with you.
Yeah. Yes.
Burton.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
And Baba, you know, continue to work on those chants. We want them correct. Yes.
And of course, if next week someone comes on and condemns something that someone before said, that's not a problem. I think it's all.
Yes. So thank you very much, Baba Okan. You know, Baba Okan is always supportive of everything we do.
Yes. Yeah, and he's been here, right? In this space. Yes.
Very so I'd like to say thank you very much to all the listeners, viewers who took the time out to be here with us. I mean, tonight I had fun, you know. I had real fun. I learned a lot. I always say I am one of the greatest students and listeners on this program. Ella, you have anything to say before you go?
Well, I think I said what I had to say in terms of, you know, the future. I think we have a bright future. I think we have to, you know, walk the path, and the energies, the Godhead will guide us.
Benny.
You know, Ashe. Yes.
You know, may Olodumare continue to guide and protect us. May the Irumale continue to support us. May our ancestors, may we continue to pour libation. May our ancestors walk before us and walk after us. May we all be our brother's keeper. I call upon my guide, Orisha na Alabalashi, Obalufunu, Pata, Obatala to continue molding me and continue guiding us. May we have a blessed and productive week, and may we look out for each and every one. Thanks very much. And as always say, continue to support this program here, Ifa Orisha Way of Life, on the Street 919 FM. It's not cheap, it's not free. You know, so we ask Ilays, Parlays, independent persons to donate whatever monetary that they can towards the program. It's 2 years and plus running. Myself, Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, and King Shaka, you know, and we don't want the money. All you need to do is send the donations to Chini Bashment Limited, Marval Road. You know, I'll get the contact numbers for you guys. I have a long way to go. May be blessed. Thanks to my Ella here. You know, we will talk after about going to my Baba for Jubilee. You know, because I took a little time out from attending feast, and I believe there's the time to go back, you know, and choose. Once he first says yes, Olodumare says yes, I'll go forward. So let us have a blessed one. Odaro. Odabo.
Odabo.
Yeah, yeah, oh.